It began, as many meaningful stories do, with quiet observation. In the spring of 2025, Vanessa Paradis sat in a Paris recording studio, sunlight gently filtering through the blinds. When asked to describe her years with Johnny Depp in a single sentence, her response was simple, soft, but heavy with understanding. He loved me like a storm, and I was too tired to keep rebuilding. There was no bitterness in her voice, only the weariness that comes from years of shared intimacy and care. Their story was not defined by scandal or anger, but by devotion stretched across time, art, and family life. 14 years together, raising 2 children and creating music and memories in the quiet of French mornings and chaotic movie sets, they had experienced a love as intense and unpredictable as weather, beautiful but impossible to contain forever. When opposites found harmony, Vanessa and Johnny met in Paris in 1998, a rare convergence of restless energy and serene steadiness. She was quietly elegant, grounded, and attuned to rhythm and routine. He carried the unpredictability of fame, motion, and intensity. Their connection was immediate, and for a moment, the world's noise fell away. He noticed her simplicity before her beauty, and she saw something deeper in his silences. Trading the chaos of Hollywood for cobblestone streets and quiet mornings, they built a world together, a farmhouse in the south of France where their love could breathe. To outsiders, they were a secret dream, 2 artists escaping the glare of celebrity to nurture family and music. Their love had no wedding, no public ceremony, only the steady proof of presence, laughter, and the quiet rituals that define a home. Building a life between extremes. In the early years, their differences felt complementary. Vanessa offered grounding, a sense of rhythm and continuity. Johnny brought inspiration, creativity, and the thrill of intensity. But the same contrast that drew them together also tested their patience. He thrived on transformation and the rush of new experiences. She built carefully, tending to the familiar and steady. Their children became a shared anchor, but the push and pull of their personalities created unspoken tension. Friends and family could sense it, though the couple carefully maintained privacy. Fame, a constant in Johnny's life, occasionally intruded, bringing unpredictability into their carefully constructed sanctuary. Behind closed doors, love coexisted with fatigue, affection with exhaustion, and a quiet awareness that even the most devoted hearts must navigate the edges of difference. The quiet weight of patience. Vanessa's patience became a defining part of their love. She learned to read his moods the way others read weather, predicting storms through small signs. She forgave, adjusted, and created stability even as he chased experiences and characters that demanded transformation. She understood his restlessness was not cruelty, but a reflection of the life he had lived and the energy he needed to feel alive. Over time, however, patience began to feel heavy. Love, no matter how profound, carries limits when it must constantly absorb turbulence. The rhythm of their household shifted subtly. She became both lighthouse and shield, protecting their children and trying to preserve a home that could survive the tempests of creativity and fame. And she began to notice the quiet cost of holding space for 2 while sustaining her own life. Understanding the limits of love. Vanessa gradually accepted that love is not always a permanent structure. She grieved quietly while living within it, mourning the versions of Johnny and herself that existed at the start of their life together. She understood that love could be both shelter and challenge. Through long stretches of absence or creative immersion, she realized she could no longer be the sole stabilizing force in a home where his inner storms demanded attention. The revelation was gentle but profound. Love has limits, and recognizing them is not a failure, but an act of clarity. Through reflection and quiet observation, she learned that one could deeply care for someone and still know the time had come to step back. The final goodbye. Their separation was neither dramatic nor performed for public spectacle. It arrived quietly, with mutual recognition of their realities. On a pale blue morning in the south of France, Vanessa prepared coffee while Johnny, exhausted from another restless night, entered the kitchen. Words were minimal, gestures gentle. He expressed concern about causing pain. She responded with calm acceptance. In that moment, both understood that love, though profound, had changed its form. She walked to the window, inhaling the scent of rain, and felt peace for the first time in years. Their love was honored, not erased. It had been transformative, teaching endurance, care, and the value of self-preservation. The storm had passed, leaving clarity, gratitude, and the quiet knowledge that love's beauty sometimes lies in its impermanence. Life after the storm. In the months following, Vanessa rebuilt her life carefully and quietly. A smaller, calmer home allowed space for morning rituals, music, and the laughter of children. She did not erase Johnny from memory or life, but she no longer made him central to her existence. Freedom was subtle, a gentle exhale rather than a dramatic declaration. Johnny continued his art, his performances infused with depth and the echoes of shared years. They remained connected through memory and respect, two parallel lives shaped by years of intimacy, creativity, and challenge. Their story became a parable for understanding the balance between passion and peace, reminding the world that some love is meant to awaken the soul rather than last forever. Reflections on love and release. Years later, Vanessa spoke about love not in terms of heartbreak, but seasons. Some relationships warm, change, and then depart, leaving a lasting impression rather than a permanent home. She recognized the beauty in what had been, rather than focusing on absence or loss. Johnny carried her influence in his art, a quiet acknowledgement of her steadiness amid chaos. Their story illustrated that love is complex, multifaceted, and rarely about possession or permanence. True care may sometimes require walking away. Their parallel paths were proof that enduring affection can exist even after separation. It was not tragedy, it was evolution, a recognition that some people enter our lives to teach resilience, endurance, and the subtle art of release. Gratitude after goodbye. Vanessa's final reflection on her time with Johnny highlighted gratitude and acceptance. Their years together had been full of learning, laughter, music, and profound intimacy. Even as their paths diverged, they carried respect and acknowledgement for the impact they had on one another. She described freedom as the gentle sound of rain without fear, a metaphor for the quiet release that comes when love fulfills its purpose. Johnny continued to honor her through subtle presence in his work and memory, while Vanessa found peace in the life she had rebuilt. Their story demonstrated that love is not always about survival together, but understanding when to step away, look back, and quietly whisper thanks for what was given, shared, and transformed. Lessons from a shared life. Ultimately, Vanessa and Johnny's story is about balance, understanding, and the transformative power of love. It teaches that even the most profound affection has boundaries, that nurturing another's storms can come at the cost of one's own energy, and that leaving is sometimes the most courageous act. Their life together was not defined by drama, but by ordinary acts of care, music, and presence. They exemplify that love is as much about reflection and patience as it is about passion. Walking away does not negate the love once shared, it honors it. The storm that shaped them also left behind clarity, creativity, and a legacy of quiet grace, illustrating that love's true lesson is understanding the delicate balance between devotion and self-preservation.